U.S. forces to carry out or sponsor assassinations of civilians, of students, journalists, religious leaders, peasant organizers, whomever. In fact, in U.S. politics, if a president is reluctant or seems reluctant to do this, they get castigated. They get called a wimp. George Bush Sr. Came under vicious attack when he attempted, through covert means, to mount a coup in Panama against Noriega, and it failed. And there was a cover of, I think it was Newsweek, called The Wimp Factor, where they were attacking Bush Sr. for not being strong enough.
Well, there's American journalism doing its job.
Yeah. Within a very short, I think it was within a week after that, he invaded Panama
Right.
formally, an invasion that included the burning of a neighborhood called El Chorillo, where hundreds were killed in a poor neighborhood. The New York Times then ran a front-page analysis by R.W. Apple, which said that Bush Sr. had completed his presidential initiation rite by demonstrating his willingness to shed blood, not his own blood, but the blood of foreigners, including of foreign civilians. And this, to this day, is part of U.S. politics. It's basically a refusal on the part of American society to enforce the murder laws when the killings are done by presidents or generals, and where the victims are foreigners. Now, all big powers do this, but in the recent period, because the U.S. has been the dominant power, the U.S. has the biggest death toll. If you added all the operations up, it would go into the several millions. Just to list the ones that I've personally seen and tried to expose and fight against: Guatemala, Salvador, Nicaragua, Honduras, Haiti, South Africa, Palestine, East Timor, Indonesia, southern Thailand. Sure, I'm leaving out a few. The U.S. has used the Pentagon, the CIA, occasionally the State Department, to set up or back local forces, help them gather intelligence on dissidents, and help them provide the means to carry out systematic assassinations. In addition to that, as you mentioned, they will sometimes back formal military forces that go into the field and wipe out entire villages. The Guatemalan military did that, especially during the early 80s, when the Reagan administration was backing them enthusiastically under the time of the dictator General Rios Montt. And they would go into villages in the Mayan highlands in the northwest, and I was there. I spoke to the soldiers as they were doing it. I spoke to survivors. They would decapitate people. They would crucify people. They would use the tactics that ISIS today puts on video and that are now shocking the world.
One of the things I'd like you to speak about is the mechanics of how it works.